Let it play, boy.
To effect is different. Big right hand, and he's laying on the ropes. Javon Dabney in the fight.
Champ. Justin Gambra, the esteemed trainer. That's a right hand.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Gold9 TV. My name is Adil and I'm your host. Now today we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and last time I was here we had a sit down with Jeremiah Milton and we talked about his journey to becoming a professional boxer. He left a lot behind, a comfortable life behind to chase his dream, and today, 2 years later, we have a sit down and we're gonna catch up and see what happened past 2 years and all the successes he has achieved. Without any further ado, let's get it. Well, Jeremiah, welcome back to the channel. It's been, almost April 18th was the last time we sat down, 2018. A lot has changed since you left everything behind and to chase your dream of becoming a professional boxer. Tell us, what are some major drastic changes that happened until that time, within the 2-year time period?
Well, I mean, starting off, like I'm smiling. You can kind of tell I'm smiling a lot because this man right here, like, man, it's almost like in our last video we almost kind of like was laying out the blueprint to like what you're gonna see today. So today I'm now a professional boxer. I made that goal a reality.
Congratulations.
I did some great things. My amateur career gave me opportunity to move out to Vegas. Right now we're shooting in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The night after my big fight.
Yes, sir.
Had my third homecoming fight, first homecoming fight, top rank on the national stage. Received a lot of love for it, man. It's a major moment.
Blessing.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, so you started off, you were Jeremiah the night closer, right? And that's self-explanatory, right? Because you close out the night, you're big ticket at the end of the day. Now you change your nickname to Dreamland. Explain, please, what does Dreamland mean and why you changed it? What does Dreamland stand for? Because I see it on your shirt. I know you live by it. That's your Instagram tag. It clearly means a lot to you. What is Dreamland for you, and why did you change the name?
So like Dreamland for me, right? So being from Tulsa, Oklahoma, we have Black Wall Street. Everybody is not familiar with that story, but the people that do know about it, they know about the Greenwood District. And Dreamland was a theater on Black Wall Street that was out there, that was burned down in 1921 during the massacre, bombing of black businesses that happened here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, when I reference to Dreamland, everybody always thinks about Black Wall Street, and the first thing, if they know anything about it, they always think about what happened as far as the pain, like loss. Oh, we had a great community, but we lost it. I like to reference Dreamland in a sense of 1920, year right before everything popped off. So when a place where the little black kids and people in the neighborhood had a place to go and watch their favorite movie, watch their favorite actors perform, because like, what type of magic could that have been? Like, let's gather, let's go see the show, like grab your popcorn, you sit in the movies and you're watching your favorite film. So like my life has been a movie over these past couple of years, so I reference myself as the show, like Dreamland, and manifesting that dream, being able to make your dreams into reality. So yeah, just come and enjoy the show. I got strong ties to Tulsa. This is our centennial year, 100 years later after that bombing took place. So it's personal to a lot of people from the town, from Tulsa, Oklahoma, we call it town. So you see there's a big shift in energy going on. You got the Fire and Little Africa group doing their thing with Motown Records. You see a lot of people just taking those risks, from Oklahoma, making something, manifesting their dreams, working until, it becomes a reality. And so, I feel like, if you, come into Dreamland, like I say, welcome to Dreamland, it's like, what is your dream? What do you want to, and how bad do you want your dreams? Like, what do you want to apply yourself to? And that's kind of where Dreamland come from. I first got it tatted on my neck, right before December, like in December, and I just said I would stick to it.
I think this is really crazy. You went from, I remember you seeing training by yourself, no trainer, no nothing, and then with a matter of weeks or months, you were on Team USA getting ready for the Olympics, going to the Olympic trial. Explain how that happened, because you were truly independent. You didn't have somebody to guide you, and then you just put yourself in different positions that got you higher and higher, and then you were, next thing you know, at the Olympic training grounds, and you were going through qualifications. Talk about that a little bit, that experience.
You know, boxing is unlike any other sport, you know what I'm saying? So like, you have to be able to trust yourself. You gotta be honest with yourself all the time, you know, I always say that. And so, you know, honestly, I knew that my resources had pretty much tapped out, you know, where I was at. And so I had to travel more, I had to go on the road. And so like I learned a lot of my lessons in sparring and just, you know, getting around people who had done it longer than me in these other states. And so when I got my first invite out to Team USA, I was able to see how like Olympic level athletes train or how they should train. There was still some guys out there that I thought was slacking, and then like, you know, it surprised me because here we are at the highest level and we slacking off, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we here for, you know? So the information and knowledge was all there, and so I took that information and I brought it back home with me, and then, you know, just from experience like that, I was able to try to just replicate, and I get a lot of love in my city, you know what I'm saying? So like, I try to replicate everything that I had access to out there, you know. They had access to recovery and stuff like that, like, so so I looked up, you know, the recovery places and see how we could partner up and make something happen so I can have access to take care of my body. And then nutrition, you know what I'm saying? I reached out to some meal prep people. We did some trades, you know what I'm saying? I did some stuff for them, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as promotion wise, and it worked out really good, you know what I'm saying? I was able to, you know, recreate my own little winning environment. So like, you always want to know, you got to be real with yourself. Like, don't be no hater out there talking about, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, what we doing is good over here. You got to be like, all right, yeah, what did I learn from my failure whenever I did fail? Because it was times I failed in the amateurs, and these guys, I see them now, you know what I'm saying, some of them still in the amateurs, still fighting, and they still showing up to these tournaments doing the same moves, not really learning, you know what I'm saying? So like, I learned from every experience that I went through.
My thing about you that impresses me, and I know you on a personal level, what I see on Snap, what I see on social media is you don't go out and you don't party that much. You get flown out for sparrings in Miami, you know, Europe, you're in Vegas, party capital of the world. And I see on Snapchat you're at, you know, midnight, 1 a.m. watching film, watching like Muhammad Ali or the greats, you know, the Holyfields, watching film and studying.
Absolutely.
What's the reason behind it? I mean, I know you're young, I know you want to party once in a while.
Yeah, for sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think anybody, you know what I'm saying, like to experience the finer things in life, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, the simple joys and the pleasures, man, but you know, those are easy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can walk out here, go find me a nice little bar to kick my feet up at, you know what I'm saying? That'd be super easy, you know? So I feel like all that's always there, you know? Even when I go to these places and stuff like that, you know, I'm a businessman, I'm a worker. So like, that's why they like, oh, we like to have that kid back out here, because you know what, like, he showed up, he was real professional, you know what I'm saying? He handled the business, he came to the workouts that he didn't even need to come to, you know, because I'm trying to learn, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to soak as much up from the game as I can. On top of that, like, if you too busy, like, 1 foot in, 1 foot out in this sport, you get hurt, you know what I'm saying? So like, I take it serious so I don't end up on that receiving end, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, this is something you don't want to really like walk the line with and tiptoe. You know, you want to go ahead and hit it hard. Yeah, man, I think, you know, that's what separates me from some of the guys, man, because no matter where you go, you're going to be yourself, you know what I'm saying? So if you got some major vices in you, you know what I'm saying, that you just haven't learned how to deal with, you know, it's going to show.
One question I've been wanting to ask you, and I know it bothered you. A couple of your fights got canceled because a couple of your opponents decided they don't want to, you know, I guess get a concussion. I don't know what it is. Can you tell us why so many people canceling fights on you and don't been dodging you, don't want to fight you?
If you can see from my last fight, I take care of my opponents. You know what I'm saying? I got your back, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna get in there, we gonna bang, cause that's part of the game. But I got your back. You know what I'm saying? No, like you know. So I'm starting off with these early 4-round fights. You know what I'm saying? These. So when you start off in the beginning of your career, these type of things happen. Now, like COVID on top of that is extra pressure. You know, since we had some fights go to COVID too. But, you know, you get a lot of guys that claim they want to fight and then they come looking at the check and they like, man, I don't know if that's really a good trade-off. So, like, you know, it's part of the game. It's a very annoying part of the game. But it's just part of the process and how you build. You know, if I had my way, I would try to bite off a little bit more. But, you know, you got a team in place and you want to let them, you know, try to
handle that,
guide you. You know what I'm saying? Now always, you know, speak your mind if you don't feel like this is right or something like that. But you know, for the most part, you know what I'm saying, just communicate with your team and then trust that they're going to help, you know what I'm saying, guide you in the right spot.
That's what's up. Well, that leads me to my other question. So we all know boxing pays for attention. If you get a poster, it's in a lot of ways, it's clout-driven sport, right? So a lot of people look for that highlight. A lot of people look for the poster of a guy half folded, knocked out. With your past fight, you had a chance to, you know, get a Sports Center top 10 moment. You know, he was right there in front of you, froze. You could have knocked him out, but you decide to be the bigger man, and not give a man a lot of medical bills, you know?
No, for sure. You
Talk
know,
about that, yeah.
You know, like, so it happens real fast, right? You know what I'm saying? But you're aware of all of it, you know? He was definitely out on his feet. He was gone, you know what I'm saying? His legs stiffed up, his arms stiffed up. And, you know, Muhammad Ali once said, you know, like, he ain't in the sport kill a man and don't do anything like that or, like, really, like, injure somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, because people have to get home to their families.
Yes, sir.
You know? So, like, yeah, man, I get in the ring, man, I'm all action, man. I'm, like, thinking, you know, it's you and me in this go mode. I need to, you know, stop you from being a threat. And the threat was nullified. There was no more threat, you know what I'm saying? He ain't had nothing to him. And, like, I was able to catch that. And, you know, the human in me just kicked in, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. I'm great at it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I was raised with mom, you know what I'm saying? She taught me good lessons and stuff. And even when I used to beat up people in the hoods, man, we used to fight in the streets, man. I ain't never had nobody come back and want to pull a gun on me or nothing like that because, you know, even when I knock these guys down or knock them out, you know what I'm saying, they would be like, yo, that kid show respect, you know what I'm saying? So I would be like, all right, you know, you done? You know what I'm saying? So, like, that ain't necessarily how it's going to be all the time in the pros. I think this was just a moment, you know what I'm saying? I think this was a moment because, you know, you have to make sure you can finish the fight. But, you know, the fight was done. Yeah. It was rightfully over.
You looked finished, and it's a moment where you looked at the referee like, yo, are you gonna call it? Or because you called back and you looking at the ref like, yo.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was hugely conflicted because, you know, I'm in control of all of it. You know what I'm saying? I was in control of, you know, my movement in the ring. I was in control of where he was gonna be positioned. I already backed him into one corner. I was like, I'm gonna move him over to this corner. I'm gonna walk him into the shot, you know. So, like, I'm 5 moves ahead. I've seen it all. And so if I could see it all just play out like that, and now I know I got you, it's already checkmate, you know what I'm saying? What else do I need to do at that point?
So I remember you one time drove 9 hours from Tulsa, Oklahoma to, I think, like, south side of Houston to spar somebody who was at that time an amateur. And I don't think he was a pro. He was also beginning. And you took that trip. That's a long trip for a sparring session. But now you're getting flown out to Miami, you're getting flown out to London to spar really superstars, you know, one of the top guys in the game.
Major.
Tell me what that feeling like, because that's how serious you took this, because you drove 9 hours for a sparring session for a guy, no disrespect to him, but at the time he wasn't 9 hour worthy of a drive.
Wow. Yo, it's crazy. Even I don't really know how you know that story, but that's dope, bro. Cause yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like I talk to some of these guys, and I'll be like, "Yo, I'll get you this work, man. It's over here in Dallas. Where you at?" And it's like 3-hour drive for them. And then they looking like, man, Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Like, or my homie Liddell Rose, man. He told me a long time ago, like, man, you gotta get on the road, man. That's how you gonna get better. And so like, I remember when he said that, and so I just thought about it. I was like, yo, how seriously do I want to be in this sport? How serious do I want to take it? And so, yeah, there ain't no work within miles of me, and I get offered to go, I'm about to take the trip, man. So same day we drove out there, same day we drove back. And yeah, you know what? Yeah, I dropped buddy, you know what I'm saying? It was good. It is what it is, you know. And yeah, but I mean, he was not necessarily on my level, but he was a good body to work with, you know. Yeah, man, it's like now you looking at today, man. Now I'm fighting. I'm standing across the ring, sparring with guys that I've been watching, you know, on the YouTube and you know doing their thing. And it's funny because I got to play the background to like so many major events last year. You know what I'm saying? Big fights happening. And I was sparring partners in like these big camps with these major names, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to put myself in the front, you know what I'm saying, and showcase what I could do. And I did that, you know what I'm saying, the other night, you know, showcase what I could do. But now it's like the intrigue, like what's the next, what's the more. But yeah, bro, when you think about just dedication alone, you know, whether or not they was flying me to London, or I was just driving in my car, you know what I'm saying? It was all for the pursuit of becoming a better boxer. Just being better at the craft, you know what I'm saying? And so ain't nothing Hollywood to take from that, you know what I'm saying? Just if you really want to get out the mud, this is what you're going to do.
Got to put the hours in, put the time in.
Absolutely.
You know, with that being said, you know, the times you put in, you know, the far drive just for sparring sessions, what would you say to somebody who's younger, a boxer trying to come up? What advice would you give? Because right now you're literally surrounded by, you know, the game's greats right now, you know, elite athletes, and you started off by yourself, literally training yourself, you know, watching videos, whatever you have to eat, no dietitians, no nutritionists, you know. Give advice to somebody who's watching right now and says, oh, I want to be a professional boxer and I want to get to that level. I want to be in the same rooms with the top guys. What would you tell them?
Don't lose that hunger. Don't lose that hunger that you came in the game with. So if you came in with a passion that was high, you better match that passion, because it's the same at the top, you know. And nothing gets easier. None of it gets easier. So you got to keep that childhood hunger, that whatever it was that kind of got you to do it, and how you got out the mud. Now you might have some different people giving you advice or something like that, or helping you out on the way, but like, don't make that into a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Don't make that into a crutch. Keep that passion, keep that desire, you know, because these guys at the top, you know, they want to stay there. You know what I'm saying? And so, in order for you to get on that level or to be on that level, you gotta really keep that fuel. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no secret sauce to it, you know what I'm saying? Work ethic.
Just work ethic.
Work ethic.
The grind.
You know.
So one of the biggest changes in your life since last time we met is you became a father.
Yes,
congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How is life different now that you're a father, now that you have your own family that you have to look out? How does boxing and professional life in general change?
For me, I believe that it makes anything you do have that much more of a purpose behind it, you know? So like, my actions carry a lot more weight, you know what I'm saying? My decisions carry a lot more weight because, you know, in the past, I realized, you know, how one decision can kind of alter everything just like that. And so when you have somebody that's counting on you, you know what I'm saying, even if they're not with you every day, you know what I'm saying, you have to move differently. And so, yeah, you know, a lot of my days of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you know what I'm saying, because you get weak in areas, you know what I'm saying, everybody do. You know what I'm saying, there gotta be major flaws, you know what I'm saying, but it's the little things, you know what I'm saying, that start chipping away at us whenever we start like slacking up and getting a little lax in areas, you know what I'm saying, that's when the house and everything else starts to fall apart. So, you know, my son Julian, you know what I'm saying, he's been a steady anchor in my life over the last year. You know, coming into it, like I was just like really nervous. I didn't know what to really expect. But, you know, having to know like the bond that I feel towards him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know like, all right, this is what it's supposed to be. And that's how, you know, no matter what it looked like, I'm gonna walk it out like this. You know, there was certain things people would try to tell me, you know, that was fathers. I ain't really understand it, you know what I'm saying? Even from my own dad, I ain't really understand it much. And I mean, me and him ain't got the best relationship, but, you know, I got a new perspective even on him, you know, just being a father now. And so, yeah, it's something that you'll never be able to really just tell somebody until they have their own kids, bro.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay, and one question I really like to ask everybody is, you know, you being a professional boxer, what's one advice that you had to learn yourself that nobody gave you? Like, what's something that you would tell somebody trying to come up in the boxing game that nobody ever told you before? You had to find out yourself.
One thing I had to say, trust yourself. You know, trust your gut. If something don't feel right, you know what I'm saying, you got the right to question it. You got the right to know why it is you need to be doing this or why it is, you know, you're doing it like that. You don't have the ability to, like, you know, question things and people tell you like that's just the way it is, you know what I'm saying, then they might be trying to mislead you, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody, it was a 50 Cent's book, you know what I'm saying, like you don't have to take things personal, you know what I'm saying? People shouldn't take things personal or get offended with ego. Remove your ego, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing from that fight I had the other night, you know what I'm saying? I was able to, you know, I could have kept well on this guy. But I ain't got no ego, man. I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. I know what I got, you know what I'm saying?
You're confident in yourself.
Yeah. You know, you see people trying to, like, you know, switch up who they are, switch up who they be, you know. They lack, you know, true understanding of their own identity, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, figure yourself out and don't be afraid to ask the questions, you know what I'm saying? And somebody should be able to shoot you back an answer. And if they ain't got an answer for you, at least they can admit they ain't got an answer for you. I ain't got no answer for you, but I can get back with you when I find out. Always trust your gut. And, you know, if you're getting advice from somebody, you know what I'm saying, question it. Go ahead and question it because you need to understand how things work inside and out, especially in this game.
That's major. So for all you up and coming boxers, take that, apply to your routine, to your mentality, and understand that, you know, it's okay when somebody, you know, when you don't understand something. Like, you gotta be honest with yourself, but you have to figure out what you don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, people take the athletes as just athletes, you know what I'm saying? So they think, oh, you an athlete, you know what I'm saying? You just supposed to listen, you know what I'm saying? And like, true, you know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to just, you know what I'm saying, like, don't go in there trying to train you, you know. If you got somebody actually willing to pour into you and they worth the damn, you know, don't go be like, well, I do it like this, you know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm telling you to do. But what I'm saying is you got to go in there with an open mind and you can't move it off emotion. You know what I'm saying? Don't move off the emotion, just move off facts, you know, find the facts. Find out, like, is this really, you know what I'm saying, what's going to be good for me?
Okay, so last time we sat down, 2 years ago. By the way, I will have that video in the bio too, so if you guys want to watch it, it's pretty cool. You guys gonna see, you know, short head Jeremiah.
I got a little change on me, look a little different.
You're gonna see, you know, bad lighting and camera quality, but
that broken window in the back.
The sparring going on in the back. But a lot of the stuff you said that was gonna happen has happened. Right. So, in the words of Dreezy himself, so tell him what's about to happen next. What's next?
See what's gonna happen next.
Tell me, give me a prediction, because everything you said in the other video, honestly, 90 to 80% of it happened, and I think that's super impressive. And I just want to know what you got planned and what's next.
You know what, like, it's funny because even back then I said it with such confidence, you know what I'm saying, how things was gonna unfold. And I think my boxing career is gonna be different, you know what I'm saying? I don't see it being like other people's routes, you know what I'm saying? I see mine happening pretty fast. I see like everything kind of speeding up, you know, like I think I'll be fast tracked, I'll get my fights in, you know, like nothing in boxing has happened slow for me. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for a total of 4 years, 1 year as a professional, and it's blowing up. You know, I don't think I have the luxury of time on my hands. I think in the best way possible, like I'm gonna be in and out of the sport because it's just gonna happen that fast. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be put in position for a shot, and I'm gonna be ready for my shot, and I'm gonna take my shot. And I think like I don't know, for me, like I don't know, I know guys have been doing this longer than me. I'm in the pro ranks now, so like, you know, only thing we got to talk about is, you know, getting into that world title shot and getting to that position. I feel like those doors are gonna find their way to me. You know, I think I'll be at the top of this program pretty soon.
How long, you know, hopefully sooner than later, but how long do you think until you get your first title shot?
I mean,
God willing, of course.
God willing, you know what I'm saying? God willing, you know, I don't think we'll be sitting another. I don't think we'll be sitting another 3 years waiting for this. I don't think we'll be looking like, you know, I think we'll be like getting ready to recap this video maybe with a couple belts on me or something. You know, we just gotta let it unfold. You know what I'm saying? I gotta continue to wake up, do my part, because you know, you can have a plan, but you need to be able to execute. Make sure you can execute, and that's what I did in the first video. I executed, you know, as much as that as I could. So I'm telling you today, I'm coming back to execute.
And do you plan on fighting more often, a few times a year, or do you want to go once or twice a year? How often do you want to fight? For people that watch and they want to follow you, and you know.
Yeah. I mean, me, you know, when I get into those numbers to where like, you know, where like I have the options to like how many times I'm gonna fight, I like to stay active. I like to, you know, get the next fight rolling, you know what I'm saying, get my date out there, because like you just got more of an opportunity to prove what you can do next time, you know what I'm saying? Like in boxing, everybody's always want to know what's next. And I love that, man, because like, you know, as soon as I get out of the spotlight, you know what I'm saying, I'm right back into it, you know, so like you're always going to be judged off your last performance, and so like, you know, I plan to be an active contender, active prospect, and then hopefully active champion sooner than later.
Jeremiah, I appreciate you, you know, joining us. I appreciate you taking your time to talk to us after a massive win, a great jump start to a career, 3-0 knockouts, short knockouts. You know, the sky's the limit at this point, man. And I'm excited to see how you progress, and hopefully next time we sit down and we talk, it's, you know, bigger and better things, and we're discussing title shots and belts and all the other stuff, man.
Absolutely, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
Yes,
and
sir.
until next time, peace.